a week. But in the chaos of it all, the boys in our class found that single moment to waste. After sneaking to the bathroom, the noise of jazz music began to flow through the ventilation system. No, it was not Frank Sinatra, it was not Louis Armstrong, but Gibbs and Wade and Michele and Michael singing and humming and whistling to make their own jazz music because something on iTunes wouldn't suffice. In a typical manner, the boys understood the importance of that temporary comedic relief during an intense class project, and by simply singing for the whole high school, created a moment that each of us would remember and laugh about forever. This theme continued throughout our time as a class in every way imaginable. There was Gibbs and his obsession with every female substitute, or Grace always finding the time to take any type of BuzzFeed quiz. There's the time Jason salted my tea at Steamers because he was just being Jason, and Kenna got revenge by putting dirty fish water in his drink the next day at school. Our class has had multiple hospital trips that maybe wasted a little too much time. I'm looking at you, Dylan and Xander. And then there's the amazing efforts on Michele and Michael's part to convince Principal Lawrence that Borat is a totally appropriate and educational movie that should be allowed to be viewed in class. I also feel that this certain talent of wasting moments wouldn't be possible without the raw intellect and unique qualities found within the small group of students you see here today. We have classmates that have been accepted to colleges all over the country, students with jobs already lined up at the FWC and military, students with musical and artistic capabilities far beyond what the normal person could accomplish. We are a class of innovators, encouragers, record-holding athletes, and future leaders who I firmly believe will change the world for the better. Our class is outspoken, Casey, resilient, and truly the wittiest group I have ever met, which is probably why we waste too much time bantering back and forth. I could also stand up here and spend hours thanking everyone who's been involved in our lives, I won't, and joined us to waste time together, but I'll try to hit the highlights. First, I want to thank all of the faculty and staff and the individuals here today that have put in countless hours to help us achieve our goals. And any crazy antic we pulled off or any fights we had, you've been there to support us and guide us through it. To Mr. Powers, I firmly believe you were born to be a teacher. You have made me laugh and you have also made me pass out. But because of you, I'm a better student. And as you must have picked up from the class, you've made us all better people. It was in your class we learned to waste time for the sake of personal learning. We caught Cuban tree frogs for fun, and we danced with a skeleton when you weren't watching. You taught us this theme I'm talking about today, and it's also because of you this class will always have a mutual respect for Jeeps, Labrador Retrievers, and vaccinations. This brings me to Miss Karen. I could stand here today and explain to everyone that I will never have a role model in my life quite like Miss Karen, but she would just look at me in a normal fashion and say, "Nobody cares." She continued and fostered the value of taking the time to waste a moment through her endless candy breaks, telling Michael to go dust the rims of the basketball hoop in the gym when he was having a bad day, or through playing Gregorian chants on her speakers when she felt like yelling at us. I'm not sure how I've gotten through these past 4 years without you. I just hope I can grow up and be half the person you are. Almost done. To my AP crew, Michael, Michele, Grace, and Macy, my childhood best friends. I've done life with you guys for so long, I'm not sure how I'll survive not seeing each of you every day. I love each of you and know wherever we end up, we're going to crush it. I'm also thankful for Miss Lauren and her willingness to put up with us these past 2 years, including through ZoraFest, Michael's 2 a.m. text to our group chat because literature never sleeps, and Macy attempting a coup by trying to race the county vans. May we never forget. There's also all of my other friends who know exactly who they are. You have been my favorite Lord car jams, you have been my favorite high school lunch dates, and you all even loved me when I looked like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. I wish I could take each of you with me to Connecticut, and I may still attempt doing that. There's my family. I can't begin to thank each of you and to tell you guys how much I love you. Every moment in my life you've been there to celebrate, or in Jesse and Dale's case, to make fun of me, but I wouldn't have it any other way. Thank you for being my greatest support system. And lastly, because I'm almost done, thank you to all of my classmates. The best moments have been wasted with each of you, and I have stories about everyone that I will remember, share, laugh about, and knowing me will cry about for years to come. You are just as much a part of my family as my biological, and there's no other class I would have wanted to have been a part of. So to the class of 2020, for the last time, let's waste a moment. Let's continue being the vocal citizens that strive for a better future. the innovators that go wakeboarding in a retention pond using nothing but a wooden shelf and an old pair of shoes. Let's continue being the volunteers that always lend our neighbors a hand. But most of all, let's continue picking our moments to waste that we know create unforgettable memories we remember for a lifetime. I will do my part by ending this speech with a time-wasting poem. These past 14 years have been the absolute best. We have fought, we have bickered, our teachers think we're pests. I still want my diploma, so I'll be careful with this track. Take care, farewell, and don't forget, Riley wants his knife back. Thank you.
Thanks, Amanda. Thank you for that address. Now it's my great pleasure to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Raymond Powers. Mr. P teaches all of our high school science classes. He coaches the High Q team and is a whiz at making YouTube videos. Please help me welcome Mr. Raymond Powers.
So I want to say this isn't part of my script, but you're going to move on pretty quickly, and people only want reference letters from high school teachers probably for the first 2 years after high school. And there's not one, well, there is one of you because I never taught you, Connor, so I can't write an honest recommendation letter for you. But every single one of you, and if you're squirming right now thinking, well, I don't think he means me, that's not true. Every single one of you, I know your strengths, and I could write, in fact, I can write a very bang-up recommendation letter. So don't be shy if you need to contact me after this is all over. All right? Okay. So, in 32 years of teaching, I have only been asked to give a commencement speech twice. Once a few years ago when we lost one of our students. And now in a global viral pandemic that has disrupted all our lives and taken 3 million lives worldwide and 128,000 lives in our own country. So I'm not sure what to make of that, but I'm so grateful to the class of 2020 for giving me this assignment. Seniors, before I talk to you and tell you about how wonderful you are, because it's true, and I drop a little bit of life advice on you, I want to thank your parents and families and everybody who gave you that love and support to get you to this moment, this singular moment. Never again will strangers want to give you money just because you've reached a certain milestone. Never. And so parents, thank you. And uncles, aunts, grandmas, cousins, brothers, and sisters that supported you, thank you. You should savor each second of this evening, and I'm going last, so hopefully you have savored every second of this evening as we celebrate you and your achievements. I'm going to go down memory lane a little bit, and at the end of my speech, there's a 4-minute slide presentation that hang around for before you get your diplomas, because you're in it. And when I did a Google face search to start creating that, I had 300 photographs of your class, from 8th grade till 11th grade, and for Xander, 12th grade. So I didn't select all 300, so don't panic, but we've got a little slide presentation, and some of the things that I mentioned that these characters did show up on pictures in that slideshow. So pay attention, audience, so that you're like, oh yeah, that's that thing. And coincidentally, 2 of Amanda's incidents show up, the fainting and the bathroom a cappella session. So here we go. One of the things I love most about teaching at Cedar Key is the fact that due to our small size, I get to teach our kids, your kids, from 8th grade through 11th and quite often through 12th grade. The transformation from awkward middle schooler to confident young adult like you see before you is a remarkable, remarkable thing. And I get to see it. And there are other teachers, high school up, get to see it too, because I'm not unique. We have to, at Cedar Key, you have to be able to do lots of different courses or you don't work here. Along the way, we teachers can't help but get attached to you. especially this particularly interesting mix of talents and personalities found in the class of 2020. I first met the class of 2020 in the fall of 2015 at the start of their 8th grade year. They were a little shy and quiet that first week, but they were completely over that by the following Monday. And while the group dynamic of every class is unique, it didn't take long for me to see that this was a special class with tremendous potential. And I think we've seen that tonight as they got award after award. Sharp. All right. That's counter shading, marine science member. Good, good. All right, extra credit. I have a few examples to share. Near the end of your 8th grade year, we built and launched rockets from 2-liter soda bottles. So I said, kids, bring in empty, clean soda bottles, and you don't have to drink the soda, but bring in the bottle, and we will create rockets from it. And we did that. They learned about aerodynamics. They learned about what makes a rocket go, about forces, and they built something, which I think is important in classes. They built the fins. They had to decide, is my rocket, is it going to go better if it's long? Do I add a nose cone that's long? Do I skip that? And they got to choose. I just gave advice along the way when they asked. The rockets are powered with water and air from a bicycle pump. The class of 2020 not only built the fanciest rockets of any class, one of them had 4 American flags on the nose cone, but they were the first and only class to launch a GoPro camera aboard a rocket. So many firsts for this class.